All right, we got a new week of material. This is lesson 1.4, and this week we're going to look at another algebraic process. But before we do that, let's look at our basic skills again, just to make sure we see it, at least for one more week before we leave it behind. 21 times 43, again, remember that we freeze on the 3. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. We then, because we're done with 3, bring down to 0. Freeze now on the 4. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. And then add up your columns. 6 plus 4 is 10. That would be 9. Remember on Math XL that if there are the boxes here, these numbers are important, but you do not need to worry about putting that 1 there. So even though you add up the 1, or you have to factor in the 1, there's no need for you to add that 1 to your answer, because just, it would be extra work for no reason. You get 16 problems correct on a 23 question quiz. What is your percent score? So again, what you would do is 16 out of 23, which is 0.695, looks like, which means that you would adjust that by moving that 2 spots over, so 69.5. And because that 5 is strong enough to bump that 69 up, it would go up to 70%, which would be your answer. All right. White 3, white 4. Remember, if it's the same team scoring all the points, you simply add up those numbers. So white 3 and white 4 would make white 7. Keep in mind you have to type out the full word and the number. Otherwise, the computer's not going to accept it. Black 7, white 1. In this case, you have 2 different teams scoring, so the question is who won by how much. And black 1, it looks to me like by 6, because 7 minus 1 is 6. So again, when the scores are the same, you add them. When the scores are different, you subtract them. And then the third type of problem we have, or fourth type of problem we have, is where we take 4/9 and rewrite it with a denominator of 27, remembering that a denominator means on the bottom. Now our job is to find out what multiplies by 9 to make 27. If you can do that in your head, try it out. If not, use the calculator. Remember, all we have to do is division. So 27 divided by 9, which is 3. So we multiply that to the top. 4 times 3 is 12. And there we go. Now, on that quiz, there were a lot of people who know what's going on, which is great. So this here is just a quick review to bring it back to your memory. But for those of you who did not do well on that first quiz, you might want to make sure you start speaking up in class. Even if you just call me over right now, that's fine. I'm sure, if you have a question, I'll be able to talk you through it. But just make sure you address that, because these questions are going to be on your quizzes and tests and homework for at least probably the next 3 to 4 weeks. And if you don't get them taken care of, you're going to miss them all. And when we move forward, you won't be ready for it. So I would say take care of it, because this stuff is going to keep moving forward. So what we're talking about now is the order of operations, and you've probably seen the order of operations before. Actually, I know you have. And you've seen probably some sort of memorization of please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. The general idea you don't need to memorize like that, but it is PEMDAS, PEMDAS, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. And where P stands for parentheses, which means parentheses is the top priority. E stands for exponent, second top priority, and then it just keeps going down. M is multiplication, D is division, A is addition, S is subtraction. The central question, why are the order of operations important? And that's because math is universal, and calculations in our school should match every other school in every other city, state, and country. If someone works out a problem at Southeast High School, and then someone else works it out in Beijing, and it's the same exact problem, we should both get the same exact answer, which is why the order of operations is important, because it's like a judge that determines which answer is actually correct. So when you look at this example here, please pay attention, because this is where people mess up. And I'm going to show you the proper way, but I'm also going to show you the improper way. I'm just not going to tell you which one's which. There is a group of students who say, I will do the 8 minus 4 because I like subtraction. And then they'll do 4 plus 1, which is 5. There are others who will say, I'll do the addition because I like addition better, or whatever reason they have. So they'll bring down the 8 minus and the 5, and then 8 minus 5 is 3. And you notice that even on a simple problem like this, you get 2 different answers, because there was multiple ways to get to the answer. And so That's where the order of operations comes in, because we need to figure out which one's actually correct so that we know, which one we're supposed to do. So in order to make sense of the rules, think of addition and subtraction as students in a lunch line. And again, yes, I'm telling stupid stories, but it helps you to at least understand what's going on. And if you adjust this right now, you'll have no issue with the order of operations, or at least mostly no issue. But if addition and subtraction is like students in the lunch line, and male students are not allowed to cut in front of female students, just as female students are not allowed to cut in front of male students, really in terms of students, no one can cut in front of anyone, then how do we determine who to feed first? Well, if you look at the list of people, let's discuss who gets fed first and why. So this is a list of students: Jim, Jane, Nadine, Matt, Kim, Lonnie. If they lined up in this order, and the lunch line is over here, or the lunch person's over here, and this is the line, common sense says Jim gets fed first, Jane gets fed second, then Nadine, then Matt, then Kim, and then Lonnie. And the logic is because Jim was first in line. And after Jim got fed, Jane was first in line. And after Jane was fed, Nadine was first. And after Nadine was fed, Matt was first. And then Kim was first. And then Lonnie was the last one. So pretty much if you're feeding the first person in line, that's really all it comes down to. So when it comes to simple addition and subtraction only, work out the operation that is first in line. So let's go back to this here. And again, take our concept and apply it to the actual problem. This is a student, this is a student, because it's addition subtraction. This is low level student, this is low level student, because it's addition subtraction. In this problem here, I think it's wrong, because if that student was in line first, you wouldn't jump over one person to feed the second. So I think this is wrong. I think you're supposed to do this first because it's first in line, and then this second because it's second. But just to prove it, your calculator knows the order of operations. So if we type that in, let's see what we get. 8 minus 4 plus 1, which is 5. And yes, this is the proper one. This is wrong because you skipped over a sign to deal with another one. So again, if it helps, think about addition, subtraction like, again, students in a lunch line. We'll expand on this later. But as long as you try to understand that part, you should be okay. Now, if you already know the order of operations, you don't need to really worry about this stuff in general. Just make sure you copy these examples so you have something to help you out. 4 plus 5 minus 2 minus 1 plus 3. Again, these are student, 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 and student. Again, just kind of, if you've had issues with the order of operations, just adjust your thinking a little bit. Those are all what we would call students, which means we feed this person first. This is the second part that you have to be careful on, because in Math XL, you have to copy minus 2, minus 1, and plus 3. From there, student, student, and student, which means that this is the first student in line. 9 minus 2 is 7, and now you must copy minus 1 and plus 3. Student and student, which means we feed this one first. 7 minus 1 is 6, and then 6 plus 3 is 9. Again, just to prove it, 4 plus 5 minus 2 minus 1 plus 3 equals 9, which means we got it right, just to prove it. On the second one, again, copy this one also, just to make sure you have it for your notes. Student, 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 because it's all addition, subtraction. That's all today is going to be about, is straight addition, subtraction. So if you just remember to go front to back, you should be okay. 9 minus 6, 3, then copy plus 2, minus 5, and plus 6. Then you put your 3 plus 2 together, which is 5. Then copy your minus 5, plus 6. Then you put your 5 minus 5 together, which is 0. Plus 6, and then 0 plus 6 is 6. Again, just to prove it to you real fast, 9 minus 6 plus 2 minus 5 plus 6 is 6, which is right. Now again, on the Math XL, there will be boxes on this, and this is what you have to type into each box. So you really don't need paper on it as long as you know your numbers. But the general idea is each of these boxes is going to be what you copy. So make sure you copy those boxes if you need to, so you understand what goes in them. The number one question that we get in this class is, I don't know what goes in the boxes, but the notes are telling you what goes in the boxes, so there's really no excuse to not know what goes in the boxes. Last two examples, again, 9 plus 6 plus 1 minus 4. Again, student, 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 and student. So this 9 plus 6 makes 15, plus 1 minus 4 minus 2. Then you deal with the front student again, 15 plus 1, which is 16, minus 4, minus 2. Then you deal with the first person again, 16 minus 4 is 12, minus 2, which is 10. I'm not going to check it because we're at the 10-minute mark and I'm ready to wrap this up so you can get to work. And again, those are your boxes, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And in the last example, 10 minus 2 would turn to 8. Again, copy the rest, minus 3, minus 1, plus 7. That's a very important skill in algebra of rewriting. Then you do the 8 minus 3 because it's in front, 5 minus 1 plus 7. Then you do your 5 minus 1, which is 4. Bring down your plus 7, and then 4 plus 7 is 11. And that represents what you're looking at. So the order of operations is just the first experience in algebra that forces us to be patient and work through a problem one step at a time. Please make sure you do not rush through these problems. Your ability to slow down and do one step at a time is crucial if you want to have success later on. Now, you can choose not to do it, but you're probably going to mess up in a whole lot of different other areas because a lot of the skills that we use they're useful in a whole lot of other spots where your algebra and your math class go. Again, the actual answer is not clearly as important as the steps, so focus on the steps as we do this. And again, make sure you're asking for help if you need it. Outside of that, good luck and talk to you later.